Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the laws of love. This book that brings to us the complete idea, the understanding of suffering, according to Spiritism. And why is it laws of love? Emmanuel says in the preface, God loves us. His laws are of love. Yes, we are afraid, right, of justice because we know that everything we do has a reaction. But why does God allow it to happen in our lives? For learning opportunities, for learning challenges. There's so much for us to conquer, to understand, and we have a wonderful guide and model for it, Jesus Christ. You and I have Jesus who loves us and brings to us the full understanding of this law. In this book, Laws of Love, Emmanuel, the Spirit author, brings educational perspective to suffering. In 8 chapters, he unfolds a completely new approach to our suffering. And today, we're going to begin a new chapter. A profound, challenging, difficult chapter, but needed. We're going to talk about suicide. We're going to talk about abortion. We're going to talk about divorce. Emmanuel compiled it in 1 chapter. And this chapter is chapter 4 of the book Laws of Love. And today we're going to discuss a few questions and answers that talk about anguishes, difficulties at home, in the family. First of all, how do we understand the problems, the anguishes, the dislikes in the family at home? How do we break it down? Because usually we're like, oh, I don't like this person do this and they do that. How should we understand it from a spiritual perspective? And this is how Emmanuel lays it out. He says, the man and the woman await the wedding. They are rocked by the dream, the melody of a dream. But once they start living together, obligations show up due to the past, and through the service program designated for each of us by reincarnation, we are going to come to terms with our mistakes and our difficulties of the past. Thus, it is easy to recognize that all the difficulties that happen at home are obstacles brought by ourselves from past existences. So then in the next questions, he's going to identify these issues. For example, somebody asked, what about the husband who is faulty? How do we understand it? How did we attract it? A faulty husband that is not loyal, that doesn't help at home. And the answer, the faulty husband is the same man that one day we pushed to cruelty and lies. Now they come back and they are our husband. You remember when there was a time in which people were married and maybe we were the prostitutes or the affairs, and we were inciting that married person to lies, cruelty, and now we are married to that person, and what we taught them is being experienced by us. This is Emmanuel, friends. What is surprising when we read this is that Emmanuel does not sugarcoat it. He doesn't say maybe, he says it is. He says the faulty husband is the same man that one day we pushed to cruelty and lies. So our victimization card, off. Oh, why did I attract this? We attracted something that we have done in the past. We brought it on ourselves. And what about the spouse, the wife that is imbalanced, unbalanced, right? Sometimes there are people who are shopaholics. They really make their partners go crazy with their shopping addictions. Or they have other types of addictions, even cheating. Who is this wife in our lives? And the answer, the unbalanced wife is the woman that one day we relegated to her needs and to addictions. It's that woman that we treated like, I don't care, just used. Now she comes back as our wife to be treated kindly, lovingly, but she is still in the pattern of addictions. Andre Luiz, in the book No Solar, at some point after he discarnated, if you have not read the book, it's worthwhile reading. If you have read the book, it's worthwhile rereading. If you have not watched the movie, it's worthwhile watching the movie. So friends, I remember when Andre Luiz at some point in the spiritual realm, he's already helping, learning to help in the spiritual colony, when he come across a woman he met when he was a teenager. Somebody who was the housekeeper in the family house in Brazil, and he had sexual relationship with her. Many things happened. She was laid off. Her life was a mess after that. Now she's recovering in the spiritual realm after a very difficult life. Who pushed her to this snowball of difficulties? Andre Luiz, when he was a teenager. We do things without thinking, in a thoughtless mode. But in future lives, we're going to have to bring ourselves together and make amends. This is not punishment. We ask for this because we know Andre Luiz, when he saw her, he was so repentant. What about children? When our children are problematic children, when they have issues, problems, who are they in our lives? They are, Emmanuel says very straightforwardly, the problem children, the children who have problems, are the same spirits that we harmed and disfigured their character and poisoned their feelings. We harmed them. Now they come back and they ask for our extra attention, special needs of all sorts. It's as if like to one child you can give just a kiss and they're fine. The other child you give 10 kisses, it's not enough for them. Why? Because they have a matrix in the past that we harmed. It's like a wound. It needs special care. It needs special care. So the question to wrap up this understanding is, what is the role, the essential role of our family, of our home. And now here, we're going to have the recipe to succeed. In the family path, impulses are purified. Decisions are renewed. In our family, we're going to find the stimuli to work and the temptations that prove to us the acquired qualities, the joys that encourage us, and the pains that correct us. So if we go back to the first question we read, we're going to see a pattern. Now we have to explain, because Emmanuel, this is not the first book he talks about family, marriage. There's another book we've never studied here at Kardec Radio. It's not in English yet, named Life and Sex. Talks about the whole 9 yards of family, relationships, etc. And there he talks about exactly what he said here today. We attract each other. And there is that illusion period, right? And we think, oh, I was deceived. No, you were not deceived. When people say, how come? Some people say, how come you didn't notice that he was like this, that she was like that? Probably we're not supposed to know. Because no relationship comes by chance. We met for a reason. And now we're going to recapitulate things together. If I am not taught since childhood that life is about overcoming challenges, being patient, being frustrated, I'm not being prepared well to go through these challenges. I'm going to give up. I'm going to feel like I don't deserve it. I'm going to read the whole thing in the worst possible way. So he says, there is a reincarnatory plan for us. So first lesson for us today, according to the Spirit, Emmanuel saying to us, 1, we don't meet by chance. We don't get married by chance. We don't form a family by chance. Even if you have not consciously done it, circumstances brought you. One more reason to understand. There is a divine plan. And the divine plan is to learn, to learn, to learn, and serve, serve, serve. Learn, learn, learn. Serve, serve, serve. To love. So the husband that is faulty, someone that we pushed to cruelty and lies. So it's interesting because when we think about cruelty, what is cruelty, right? I'll bring to you the definition here. I know you know, I know, but we need to go deeper into this. It's when somebody is indifferent or feels pleasure in causing somebody else's pain or suffering. So it's when we found somebody and pushed them to be indifferent to somebody else's pain, to somebody else's feeling. Now they are with us and they are indifferent to us, or they are cruel to us in the way of really feeling pleasure for our suffering. It happens so often in relationships. It's shocking to see how many husbands and wives go through this pattern of cruelty when there is indifference to somebody else's pain and suffering, or even pleasure. And then we attract very low order spirits. So if number 1 is it's not by chance, number 2, we are in this relationship to grow. How we're going to grow? Oh, but he did it. but she did it, but he didn't care, she didn't care. That's our childish attitude. When we are adults, we look each other's in the eye and we take the step towards understanding, patience, trying again. Sometimes we're about to quit. Don't quit. Unless it's harmful to you. Unless there is abuse. But besides that, we need to think, where is my responsibility? Emmanuel is saying to us, we're no victims today. So let's not be sad. Because once we feel we're no victims, we empower ourselves. We say, oh well, if God thinks that I'm capable to undergo this relationship and succeed, I'll find the divine way. God loves me, He's gonna show me the way. And then I will be fulfilling the role of a family, which is to purify our impulses. Are you reactive? We are. We need to purify it. You know the word purification in Greek says about selflessness. We need to practice being selfless. But look what they said. Look what my child did. Are you acting out of reaction or out of action? Jesus, our guide and model, never reacted. He only took action. And renew decisions. Decisions that in the past were mean, were ignorant. In this life, we're going to think, what am I sowing if I take this decision? What kind of connections, spiritual connections am I making? So we're going to find at home the stimuli that we need to be useful and the temptations to prove our qualities, the joys to encourage us, and the pains to correct us. This is just the beginning of this chapter, inviting us to a beautiful exercise in the next 24 hours. In the next 24 hours, we're going to focus on taking responsibility in our family. Not financially, we're talking about emotional vibratory responsibility. Louise Hay has a beautiful I Can Do It card that would fit so well for this 24-hour exercise. How can I love you more? Let us think about our family, our home, the members of our home, and ask ourselves, how can I love them more? How can I love them more? And it's not about things. It's about giving of ourselves. Would you like to do this exercise? You and I will do it. And we are sure that this is going to bring us much joy. How can we love our family members more? Let us think about this. And pass through the obstacles. Overcome them and see the joys that encourage us. And if pain is in the way, it's just educating us. Friends, you and I have a lot to be grateful for. Emmanuel is empowering us to love, to overcome our own limitations. May we be better tomorrow than we were today. Thank you, friends, for being here together. We wish you many blessings, and until tomorrow, God willing.